So if you want to listen to this in a still position, you can just take your time arriving, and you can let yourself move in whatever ways your body wants to move. Maybe some neck rolls, maybe some cat-cows with the spine, maybe some side body bends. Just letting yourself move however feels good for your body. And if that is stillness, then letting yourself be still. Just checking in with how you are physically feeling right now. And you can let yourself continue to move and adjust yourself whenever you need to. And whenever you are feeling ready, you can let yourself come to a still position with the spine nice and straight. And if you're in a space where you feel safe, you can let your eyes gently close whenever you are ready. And just marking your arrival to your practice today with a full and deep cleansing breath. As you take a long, slow inhale in through the nose, letting yourself fill up to every corner and every edge of you. And then pausing for just a moment at the top when you are full and just feeling that fullness. And as you need to, slowly letting it go. Slowly exhaling bit by bit. Pushing that final bit of air out of you to just truly empty yourself and pause to feel that emptiness as you let your next breath come as it's needed. And you can breathe just like this for a few more rounds if that feels good for you. But just letting yourself get a little bit bigger with each inhale that you take. Letting yourself expand a little bit more. And just noticing how you have the ability to welcome the air to travel to more places within you. There's so much space in you for you to fill up with this air. Or just allowing it to take you over. And then allowing it to leave you fully. And no rush whatsoever. If you'd like to continue to breathe like this, you can do so for as long as it feels good. Whenever you are feeling ready, you can release this guidance over your breath altogether. And let yourself step into the role of the observer. Let yourself observe your body breathing, being the witness of your body and its functions without having any guidance or control over your body. Knowing that sometimes this feels like a difficult thing to do, so it is perfectly okay if that's where you're at right now. But just practicing observing yourself, observing your own breath, your own heartbeat, just all the moving parts of your body, even when you are still. Observing it all just as you would any other act of nature. When you see a strong wind come by, you're not trying to slow down the wind or speed it up. You're just watching it come and go, just as you would the waves rolling up on a shoreline. Just knowing that this is a force of nature, and this will continue to move and go in and out and back and forth without any of your doing. And the breath is a unique function because it is the one thing that can be either voluntary or automatic. And just practicing that choice that you have. A choice to consciously breathe and to deepen your breath. And the choice you have to just watch. And as you are examining yourself and just how you're feeling, and start to notice the shape that your body's in. Notice any tension in the muscles, the size of you, any shape that the shoulders are making. Maybe the shoulders are curling forward and you're kind of in a hunched position, making yourself a little bit smaller. Maybe the brow is furrowed, maybe the jaw is tense, maybe the hands are tense. And just noticing, and there's absolutely nothing wrong about having tension in the body. Or just noticing what your resting posture is like today. And that can tell us a lot about our own internal state. And watching if any judgments pop up. I mean, that it is perfectly okay, whatever you find. But then just beginning to let yourself soften. And looking at all these areas of tension that you find as opportunities. Opportunities to lean in, to let go, to soften a little bit more. And just letting your spine be as long as possible, as long as it's meant to be. If you're sitting down, just allowing your sit bones to be fully heavy and grounded down to your seat as you let yourself be hugged and supported by the surface beneath you. And at the same time, allowing the crown of your head to almost feel magnetically drawn up a bit higher. So that you allow your spine to be as long as possible. And if you're laying down, just doing this with the soles of your feet and the crown of your head, letting them reach in opposite directions. Wherever you are, just allowing yourself to be as big as you actually are. And doing this with your width as well, with the tips of your shoulders, letting them reach in opposite directions as your collarbones get a bit wider. Your heart sits in this proud position as your chin falls just slightly toward the heart, so you feel that full length in the back of your neck. And just feeling your head in line with your heart, in line with the hips. And if you're laying down, in line with the heels as well. Allow your jaw to be heavy, your tongue to soften, your lips, your cheeks, your nostrils and your chin. Your eyelids and eyebrows. And the whole forehead, spreading into the hairline and the ears, across the entire scalp. Softening the muscles down the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Softening into yourself. And releasing unnecessary tension in the stomach, in the hips, in the glutes. Softening the thighs, the shins and the calves, the feet and the toes. And just noticing what you are hearing right now. Listening closely to the sounds of your own body mixed in with the sounds of your environment. Whether you are in a quiet place or a loud place. Practicing hearing the sounds around you as part of your own personal symphony. And just letting the sounds be just another reminder of this moment, as you remember that sounds can only exist in this moment. What you hear is happening right now. So even sounds that you might first label as distracting or annoying. Practicing stepping back a little bit and just letting it be there. Hearing the sounds along with your own heartbeat maybe, along with the sound of your breath. Just letting yourself hear whatever exists in your own world right now. Remembering this uniqueness of your own perspective, because you are the only one who is hearing exactly what it is that you are hearing right now. The only one who is hearing your surroundings with the steady background of the noises coming from your own body. Just feeling and hearing how you are a part of your environment. Feeling that aliveness within you, as well as within the space you are in. And even noticing what you are seeing, even with the eyes closed, noticing what you can see, even if that is just darkness. Again, letting your sense of sight be just another reminder of this moment that you are in. What you smell, what you taste, and what you feel. And at times we can get so distracted by our own thoughts, and by planning and just thinking toward the future or toward the past. And there are times where we feel anxious about these thoughts. This can be one of the most helpful tools for you, is to bring yourself into your senses. Your senses will always lead you to this present moment. It's taking a moment to bring yourself fully into your ears and listen closely to your surroundings, to your own heartbeat. And notice what you are seeing. A lot of times we are looking at things and glancing, but we are not seeing them, seeing all the different shades of colors, the different lighting. It's all the magic and joy that exists in the world around us. We can become too fixated on the problems and where we feel we are lacking. So, knowing that those moments will come up, and we will feel that way at times, but just reminding yourself as often as you can that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and that there are moments of joy and love and beauty all around you. And sometimes when we are exposed to these things every day, they can just fall into the background or become boring or lose meaning. But just the sun, if you can start with something simple, reminding yourself of how amazing the sun is and how good it can feel on your skin and how it allows all of us to be here, all the plants, all the animals, all life. Seeing the beauty in whatever nature is around you, even if you're in the middle of a city, the birds that land on your fire escape, or maybe any animals you have, dogs, cats, fish, anything at all. Just remembering all the beauty that is already here. Remembering that you have the ability to create more of this beauty. Remembering that you have the ability to create a good chunk of your life. There is a lot of life that is out of our control. A lot of life happens to us. That's just part of it. But we have the ability to choose how we react to the situations that present themselves. We have the ability to choose the people who surround us. Even if we get stuck in certain situations or around certain people, knowing that at any point you have this ability. This isn't something with a time limit. You can choose to address conflicts, or you can choose to ignore them. Or you can choose to ignore conflicts and then address them when you're ready. But watching this pressure that I think a lot of us feel these days to figure everything out right away and to speak on things right away. The internet has really changed the way that we think about a lot of things. Knowing that this is not a race. Your growth is not a race. You are just like every flower that is out there. You bloom when you are ready, and nothing will take you off of that course. You might go through a tough winter where you're being pounded on by the elements and you are unable to bloom at that point. But with a little warmer weather and rain and sunshine, with the right conditions, you will bloom. And then you will close back up. And then you will bloom again and close back up again. And we are just like every other act of nature. We are not meant to be productive all of the time. So just watching those voices in your head, those pressures to do things right away and to be at your end goal, to be there faster or achieve more faster. And just enjoy the journey. Enjoy all the ups and downs of it as best as you can. And let yourself fully feel all the parts that suck, because there will be parts that are not all happy and sunshine and rainbows. There will be storms throughout our life. And why would we be any different than the forces of nature around us? The weather isn't perfect every day and beautiful. I mean, in some places more than others. But it is impossible for anything of nature to thrive all the time. And if we were thriving all the time, we wouldn't even, it would be nothing. It would just be our baseline. We wouldn't even appreciate it or recognize it as thriving. It would just be what is. So reminding yourself that feeling of progress and thriving and growing comes from, or it needs the other side of it too. We appreciate our growth after big setbacks in particular. And we can notice how we are improving, especially after periods where we felt like we've fallen maybe. So we need that contrast. That contrast is what we notice, that improvement, that sense of growth. So letting yourself be in whatever stage of growth you are in right now. And know that it is perfect. So I'm going to read now from part of the newsletter from one of Young Pueblo's emails. But just let yourself continue to feel your body, notice areas of tension that come up and continue to soften into them as you listen to these words and just absorb whatever feels helpful for you. So yes, you should remove people from your life who are abusive, exceedingly difficult, and full of way too much negativity. But at the same time, if you are removing people from your life whenever there is any conflict, this will encourage the unhealthy pattern of running away. Ending connections with family, friends, or an intimate partner whenever disharmony appears is a recipe for loneliness, and it creates a situation where you do not allow yourself to develop the critical skill of conflict resolution. You also are not allowing yourself the opportunity to experience the elevated harmony that occurs when understanding dissolves the tension between two people. Often, small amounts of conflict actually helps bring two people closer together if they are open to listening to each other's perspectives and finding a middle ground. Harmony does not appear out of nowhere. It is intentionally constructed through the honest and calm communication that two people share. Removing toxic people from your life has become a popular idea on social media, but any idea taken to an extreme can end up producing unhealthy results. Building proper boundaries is important, but it is also important to step out of your comfort zone and calmly face conflict. This can help deepen your connections. Number 2, technology pushes everyone to make quick judgments. We have become so accustomed to this new speed that many take offense when you take time before you speak. It takes strength to not immediately move with the crowd and to feel okay about not having much to say because you are still trying to understand what is really happening. It is easier to just adopt what your friends and mass media are saying as your own, but this style of living can lead to being inauthentic and it can weaken your critical thinking. On the other hand, speaking up is powerful, but we should at least make sure it is coming from a genuine place and not from our craving for approval from others. Our world is certainly one of sharp ups and downs, but we have to be attentive enough to not let the algorithm think for us. When you realize that the internet is battling for your attention because this is the way it creates profit, it helps you develop a healthy level of skepticism. This understanding encourages you to guard your mind so that it is not inundated with unsubstantiated information. Not getting rushed by others and remaining flexible as you process things helps you keep your peace. And number 3, for love to flourish, letting go is necessary. The opposite of love is attachment. If all we can think about is what we want and fail to consider what we should be giving, then real love is far away. Love is something we feel within ourselves that helps us connect with freedom, and it helps us perceive reality more clearly. Love is the nourishment we give to our relationships and the feeling of profound selflessness that arises when we think about properly caring for the ones closest to us. The friction we feel within relationships is not because of love. It is due to attachment. Attachment most often takes the shape of control, especially when we want someone to be a certain way or make choices that we find agreeable. Attachment stands in the way of harmony and it erodes the feeling of home. If you find that a lot of friction is entering your relationship, ask yourself, where can I let go? And this is a journaling prompt at the end of this email from Young Pueblo that you can just ponder. So it is, in what ways have you been allowing yourself to move at your own pace? Is there a recent conflict that occurred in your life where you ended up learning more about yourself? What boundaries are you working on developing? And what are 3 important things you want a relationship to have? Just let all of those words settle. That was a lot of words. And remind yourself that anything you've heard today that has resonated with you, trust that when you hear something that resonates, it is just when you hear on the outside what you already know to be true on the inside. So, if you've heard some truths today that ring true for you, remembering that everyone's truths are different. If you heard something that sounds helpful to you and connected with you on a deeper level, just allowing that trust to sink in, letting that be enhanced within you so you feel a bit more confidence to act on your own truths, to speak on your own truths. To let these truths have a bit more guidance in the actions you take. Again, if it felt helpful for you. You're not trying to force anything to sink in that isn't clicking. Knowing that we hear what we need to hear when we need to hear it. And just trusting yourself knowing that you are your best teacher. And there is not one other person out there that can teach you more about yourself than you can. And a lot of people will claim to be able to do that, or to be able to unlock certain things within you. And while it is true that listening to other people can spark things within us, and they can be helpful in pointing out paths that maybe we should go down, but at the end of the day, there is not one person that will be able to teach you more about yourself than you. So throughout all your practices, if you listen to yoga classes or guided meditations or any other lessons, practices, remembering this, even if other people try to tell you that you need to listen to everything they say and follow blindly, remember that you are the teacher. You are your own best teacher. If something does not feel right in your body, you listen to that first and foremost, regardless of what people say around you. There are a lot of people these days who will try to get you to listen to every one of their words and follow everything they say. And trust yourself. If something doesn't feel right, trust that. Know that at the end of the day, all you need is yourself and your loved ones around you. Even if your loved ones are just a bunch of animals or plants. It's knowing you matter and your life is significant in this world, and nothing will ever change that. So if it feels like something you would like to do today, you can let your hands find each other in a prayer position at heart center. And notice that pulsing sensation of your palms. If you can feel that, just feel the palms pulsing into each other. Maybe press your thumbs towards your heart and let your heart lift back toward your thumbs and just feel yourself. Feel this power that is constantly beating inside of you from the time you were in your mother's womb until your very last breath here on this earth. This power is yours. And taking a full deep breath into your body, letting yourself fill up the most you have today. And as you need to, letting go, allowing your head to gently bow as you let go of anything that no longer serves you. And just bowing to whatever source of energy you believe is allowing your heart to beat. Bowing to the constant source of guidance and inspiration all around you, whatever that means to you. Bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. May you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see.